It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
What genuinely disgusts you? Like you see it and immediately you are disgusted. We talked about that in great detail today and a lot of great answers as well. That's coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. Let's go. It's creeping up.
Yes! I'm all done.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's arriving today through the 22nd. I'm going to wrap everything by November 1st, you girl.
What do you-
going to breeze through the holidays.
You just kind of tuck it away somewhere then, like under beds and
Just
stuff?
on our guest room bed. Yep. They're all wrapped, so it's not like anybody could sneak a peek or anything. So.
Well, with Christmas right around the corner, I did see a meme yesterday that had this kid saying, "Thanks for the iPad, Grandma." And it was really a piece of gauze that said EYEPAD, iPad.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of funny. And then it opened up a wound of going to my Grandma Fran's for Christmas. And it would be, I don't know, 20 to 30 people crammed into a space about as big as our studio here. It would be extremely hot. And then we'd start opening the gifts after everybody had, 47, 49 beers. Mm-hmm. And my cousin Jason would get like Guess jeans or a Guess jean jacket.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, this is the year. Oh, Grandma's going to splurge. and then I'd open up my gift and it'd be a pair of green sweatpants from Kmart. And I'd be like, what the hell? And my parents were good about it. They're like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. And then I get home and I'd be like, what is that? And my dad's like, just be happy you got something. And I'd be like, all right. So that's the way it went down. But what was the worst Christmas present you ever got?
I would think those ill-fitting silk thongs that my mom used to get me when I was like in ninth
Never
grade.
gets old.
I was like, these are the ugliest things I've ever seen. And they would go up like from the 1980s, those girls that would be on Venice Beach, the
high
boardwalk.
hip ones?
Yes, go all the way up to right underneath my armpits, and they were all ruffled. I was like, these are so ugly. I
Like that
thought
thing
they were cool.
Borat wears?
Yes. Almost like a singlet. I could have put it over my shoulders and wore it like that. But then I think I know what Derek would say. So when he first started going to the holidays at my family's house, my mom got him this tie, a red tie, and it's Santa playing golf because she's like, oh, he likes playing golf. He doesn't like playing golf that much. But he was thinking, oh, this is the gag gift ahead of the real gift. Like the party was over and we're in the car. He's like, that's all I got? What? And so I had to apologize to him. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what she was thinking.
Now, in a perfect world, we're all supposed to be just grateful you got something and you were included,
true.
right? But it doesn't work that way because there's so much of a buildup, right?
Yeah.
Now, listen, if you don't have kids yet, you want disappointment?
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you get everybody something and you get nothing because you're the parent. That's the ultimate disappointment. How's Kaylee feeling this morning?
Good. How about you?
Good. I saw your... Oh, my God. You okay? Does somebody need help back there?
Yeah, I work at a daycare.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
So, Kat didn't read the text messages yet, but I saw yours. So tell everybody what you got for Christmas that was super disappointing.
So I was like 15, and I wanted Ugg boots more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And my stepmom went out of her way to get a box that Uggs come in and weighed it down with chocolate.
That is such a stepmom thing to do. Like she's living.
Yeah, I cried.
That is what they say, like the nasty stepmom. That is what a nasty stepmom would do. But what did I do to my kid with
Kat
the
did
iPhone
the same
box?
thing with an iPhone.
So my kid was like 6. I'm like, what delusional world are you living in? He kept asking for an iPhone. I'm like, 1, we're an Android family. 2, you're 6.
Losers.
And so I had my cousin Stephanie send me her iPhone box because she had just gotten a phone. And I wrapped it up and I gave it to him. And inside there was like a little peppermint. And I did feel really bad because he cried. And I will never do something like that
I'll do
again.
you one better. My sister put coal in her kid's stocking one year.
That's terrible. And that's all she got him?
No, I'm sure he got other stuff, but like she's just like, I'm gonna go for it. Like
naughty.
You know what it is? It's the equivalent of a comedian going to your job. Oh, she had to go. She was in daycare. It's the equivalent to a comedian going to your job and heckling you.
Yeah.
Is putting the coal in the kid's stocking.
That's damaging.
She was in to prove a point. Jake, good morning. How you feeling?
Pretty good. How about you?
Great. Exploring your childhood disappointments this morning. What's the worst Christmas gift you ever got?
So I used to be that smart kid who was always go and shake his Christmas presents under the tree and guess his present in front of the whole family. And I was getting it right for a few years. Well, my aunt and uncle didn't like that. They taught me a lesson by wrapping up a old tattered Barbie that they found in the parking lot next door to their house.
Who are these people?
What did you guess that it was? Did you think it was something really cool? And then you're like, oh.
I thought it was a model car.
And then you open it up, and it's a discarded Barbie full of motor oil. What do you say?
Oh, I was pissed. I threw it across the room. The whole family laughed at me.
God.
And let me guess, this Christmas, everyone's going to bring it up again.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Do you still go down and shake everything? Are you still that guy, or have you learned your lesson?
Oh, for sure. I always shake.
Shake till I die, baby.
Shake for life. Thanks, Jake. Have a great morning, man. This is great. Listen, this is
sounds like a Seinfeld episode. He's a shaker.
Making me feel so much better about getting green sweatpants, feeling out what everyone else has gotten is a disappointment for Christmas. Matt, what disappointed you?
Well, when me and my brother were growing up, we used to beg our parents to open up one Christmas present early.
Yeah.
And finally one year, my dad's like, okay, you guys can open up one Christmas present early, but first you guys got to clean your room. So we cleaned our room. Then we had to do the dishes, and so we did the dishes. Well, he's like, okay, here's the deal. I get to pick the present. Here he had wrapped up our own shoes, like the shoes we were wearing. And we got to open them that day. We never, I'll tell you what, we never asked to open up another Christmas present early again after that.
That is like Derek and his dad. His dad one time, I think Derek was like 9, and his dad's like, hey, you let me know what mom got me under that one, and I'll let you know a couple of yours. And Derek's like, okay, it's a chainsaw or something like, what he wanted. And then Derek's like, what are those? He goes, toys.
That's it? He just left him there?
That's it.
So your dad took the shoes you had just previously taken off and wrapped them up, and then you got to put them back on.
Yep. Pretty much. He had wrapped them up while we were cleaning our room or whatever. Yeah.
That's a sad
But if he hadn't, we wouldn't be talking to you today. This is one of those stories that we look back and laugh.
So let's do this quick, Matt. Wrapped up shoes of your own, motor oil Barbie, or Uggs box with the chocolate. What's the worst one?
God, they're all good. I would say if I really wanted Uggs, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's dirty.
Think they're getting them and then not get them.
Like, what a way to get your kid off chocolate, by the way. Hey, you got some Uggs. Oh, here's chocolate. Yeah. Damn it.
We have laughed a lot today.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
When we're talking about the misery in your life. And it got me thinking, I saw a meme yesterday, and it got me just thinking about the worst Christmas present you ever got. Mm-hmm. I wanted Air Jordans when I was 9 or 10. My parents didn't have a whole lot of money, so I got the Kmart version, which had the upside down Nike swoosh. And I didn't think
that's worse.
I didn't think there was that much of a difference till I went to school, and everyone was like, "What are those?" And I'm like, "Damn it! I thought that guy only wore them once."
You know, Trisha's right about that whole thing where your cousin was getting better stuff than you. That maybe his mom,
I'm sure she did,
let your grandma know. But I have only done that for Liam because I'm like, just get him what he wants. You know what I mean? There's no guessing. And I think people appreciate that.
Well, my grandma's in her 60s or 70s. And if my Aunt Lynn was very specific saying, Jason wants Guess jeans.
Yeah.
And my dad just went, no, he'll take whatever. And so I'm sure my grandma went, all right, well, these are $60. But if he just wants
those are $9.99.
Those are $8 at Kmart. I got them on the Blue Light Special.
Yeah.
And so I've always just thought about them. Like, why did he get all the nice stuff? So, Stephanie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How about you?
Great. Tell me about the most disappointing Christmas ever.
Yeah, my grandma, who lived out of state, I didn't get to see her a lot. She had sent me a book. I was 11, and it was on rope making, so how to make your own rope.
Like tying knots, like a sailor, or like...
No. Like, I don't know, because I obviously didn't read it. I used it as a doorstop, but I think it was about, like, the process of how one would make rope. which I wasn't like into sailing or anything. Like this was not related to any interest. It was incredibly random.
Do you think your mom or dad had just like one brief conversation about something that you might have been interested in, and that's where she got it?
Oh, Stephanie really likes jump ropes, Grandma. Well, she can make her own now.
Yeah, maybe.
She'll never be without it.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. And then there was another year she got me Harry Potter like thing on the wall, and it was like whenever you walked by it or a light turned on in front of it, it would go like and it was the door, and I was next to the laundry room, so like if my mom at 6 a.m. decided to go check the towels, it would be
oh my God.
Great. Kids don't know how good they got it right now.
Let me take it down. It was on for years.
Do you have kids yet, Stephanie?
And like you get used to it. No, I don't.
Okay, if you do though, you got to do the rope making thing. You got to give it to somebody, right? Like you got to relive that. You can tell this story forever and ever now.
Yeah, just if you don't like your presents, remember it could be a book on rope making.
What I would love is if everybody could start sending Kat for Christmas ropes on bookmaking.
That's
every once in a while we'll have some listeners drop off some like wild turkey for me, and then if you could bring Kat a book on rope making, that would be the standard we need to set.
That's all right.
Thank you for your time this morning. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. I got time for one more real quick. Candace, I'm so glad you called. What was the worst, most disappointing gift ever?
My stepfather got my mom a pair of really, really nice snowmobile pants, or snow pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would have been great, except they were a size small, and she is a size extra large woman.
Okay.
And she was so pissed when she held them up, and we all could see, like, those are not going to fit her.
Aww.
Which, keep in mind, she had asked for a ring that Christmas, but she got snow pants instead.
So, okay.
But she proceeded to try them on. My stepdad was like, oh, and you could hear him go, oh. And she's like, you are going to watch me try these on, and you are going to see that they do not fit me. So she put them on.
It was 30 years ago that Pulp Fiction came out. Please tell me you've at least seen the movie.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Derek could probably recite most of the movie. I ran across this audio of Samuel L. Jackson, who can still recite Ezekiel 25:17, his speech from memory.
Charity and goodwill shepherds weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. You will know my name as the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Hallelujah. So, of course, he had to practice that over and over again.
And he was so good at it. It was so heartfelt.
Yeah, it's going to be stuck to memory.
Other parts of that movie that I remember so much is they had to shoot the girl that was ODing. They had to shoot her full of adrenaline in her heart. I saw
that part.
Yeah, and then there's the part with the slave and the guys in the basement, which was disturbing at best. The first time I saw it, I was not ready for that, and I think that's why Pulp Fiction is such an amazing movie.
God, whoever creates movies like that, you got to wonder.
It's Quentin Tarantino, man.
I know
that's
mind of him is that he's crazy. But is there a movie that you've seen so many times that it has now been imprinted onto your mind and you could recite a certain scene?
Well, for me, my favorite movie is The Color of Money. I could recite that almost word for word. But being a baseball coach, and when kids that I'm coaching right now have had the pleasure of being able to see Major League, and then they come to practice or games and recite a line from Major League, like one of the greatest lines in the history of movies is, "Are you telling me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?" Like, that's one of the funniest things you've ever heard.
And it makes you so proud.
Oh, my God.
Right?
So Major League is it for me. What can you recite?
I can recite because I watched it too much. My sister and I would spend almost every weekend at my grandparents' house, and they would play who was the main actress of the original Parent Trap? Haley. Do you remember her name?
I don't.
She was the teacher on Saved by the Bell.
The original Miss Bliss?
Yes. What is her last name? Anyway, so it's the OG Parent Trap, not the Lindsay Lohan, but it's when they're at camp and then they fight and then there's a food fight and the camp counselors are like, that was the most infamous, the most revolting, the most disgusting display of... Oh, my God. I forgot
thought
it.
you could remember.
Hooliganism we have ever had.
Hooliganism.
Sprawling like hooligans in front of our guests. And two sisters who should be setting a good example. And my sister and I would go back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah, I could keep going. I won't because it's terrible. But
do me a favor and text us the movie. I don't want to know the movie. I want to see if we can figure it out. This is for us. Text us a movie line that you or anything from a movie that you absolutely know by heart.
And see if we can shoot back.
And I want to see if we can figure out the movie. You can text us right now, okay? What is something your husband or your wife just won't let you buy? All right, this lady that we're going to talk about tomorrow morning at 7:35 wants something real, real bad, and her husband is absolutely not giving into this. So is there anything in your life that kind of fits this criteria? We'll dig into it at 7:35 Wednesday morning during our live show. Right now, let's finish up the podcast. We just told Andrea she was number 10. She said,
"Oh, no way."
And we immediately thought, wow, you sound pretty Minnesotan. You've been here your whole life, right, Andrea?
Yes, my whole life.
Well, then this should ring true to you here. Hold on a second.
This is a YouTube of how to talk Minnesotan, the power of the negative here. Less than
no
3.
way.
Oh, God.
It's okay to feel good about things here, but there's no sense running down the street telling people about it at the top of your voice. Minnesotans prefer to express their positive feelings through the use of negatives because it naturally levels things out. This will be one of your hardest lessons. Say you just got married or bought a late model pickup under book price with low mileage and hardly any rust. A Minnesotan would say,
I wouldn't want you to think I'm not happy.
That's a strong statement here. If somebody asks you, how's it going? And you're feeling average or okay, which is about all a guy can expect, really, you say, not too bad. But if you're feeling better than average and the ill winds haven't started to blow your way yet, you say, can't complain. Which means you could complain, but you won't because you feel good now. But of course, you have no illusions that it's permanent.
Hit me with the free
money.
Oh, my God. If you have time today,
can you link that up? Can you put that on our Facebook page?
do yourself a favor and watch it. I will do that while we play, yes.
All right. So it is time for Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda. And what are you up to right now, Andrea?
Oh, I'm at work.
Oh,
no way. I'm at work.
How many opes do we average a day? I wonder. And this is not me dogging on you because I think I'm an average of like a 7 opes a day.
Really?
Yeah. Just like get out of someone's way. I go, all the time.
Yeah, I would say more than 7.
Yeah.
So. Oh, no way.
You're there.
No, listen. We're a Minnesota-based morning show. We shouldn't be crapping on her like this, but it just right when she said,
"Oh, no way!"
I immediately started thinking about things like.
Hear about Allie Gallagher? She let Alan Ackerman smack her in the back with his tallywhacker behind the snack shack.
We are a breed.
All right.
That's okay.
Let's turn all this Minnesota nice into some free money, shall we? The game is Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda, Andrea, and it starts with you deciding who's offending you less today, Kat or myself. Who do you want to play with?
I'm going to go with you, JJ. Oh, no way.
Yes, right.
Well, I got some good words
I'm
for you
turn
today.
things over to Kat, and she's going to guide you through this game. Hopefully, when I come back, I can get you $2,000, which everybody will say too.
Oh, no way.
All right. We'll give it a rest here. He's headed out. You give it a rest. Oh, God. All right. I'm pulling up your timer. And, I don't feel like I have I don't feel like I have an accent, but then when you travel, people point it out. All right. Let's get you this money, girl. Got the timer going. Your first word that you have to give me, your first word that pops into your mind is burn.
Fire.
Stamp.
Did you say stamp?
Stamp.
Like on a letter?
Sure. Is that what you want? Letter?
Letter.
Okay. Million.
Dollars.
Okay. Roller coaster.
Ride.
And Brad.
Hit.
All right. I think they're all really good words. I'm going to call them back in. I'm going to stop your timer. And we are hopefully going to have you walk away with $2,000 today. Did we ask you? I feel like we were making fun of you too much, but what would you spend the $2,000 on?
Well, I'm going to split it with my friend and coworker here, so I don't know what we'll do.
Why? You did all the work. You did all the work.
Oh, no, she's helping. She's helping me. She's mouthing words, what we think we should say.
Fire.
Was she mouthing?
Hear about Allie Gallagher? She let Alan Ackerman smack her in the back with his tallywhacker behind the snack shack.
I've had that conversation too many times.
Let's go for $2,000.
All right, I think I messed up already. Burn is the first word. Burn.
First word I think of then is fire.
Yes, and you know what? I'm going to give it to you, even though you got it right, but I said it just a moment ago.
What do you mean?
And you didn't even hear it.
Oh, I didn't hear
Thankfully. Okay.
Okay.
The next one is million.
Dollars.
Got it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Come on, Andrea.
The next one is Brad.
I'd say Brad Pitt.
We got it.
Oh, no way.
Wait, yeah, let's go, Andrea. Oh, my God, we're 3 for 3. Let's go.
Okay, let's do stamp.
I think of envelope.
You think of envelope?
Envelope for a stamp.
Would you give it her letter? Would you give it to her for letter?
No, I don't think that works.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you should. She said
Damn
letter.
it. I said letter. No. Letters on paper. Envelope
You know,
is what you put it in there.
I feel like I would have said envelope
Two
too.
different entities. I can't do it.
The last one is roller coaster.
Ride.
Damn it.
Hey, we were that close.
Oh, I would have said envelope too, so I would have ruined it as well. 4 out of 5.
Oh, no way.
Well, that's the closest we've gotten in a long time.
I feel like they're both flicking you off over the phone.
What's your friend's name that's really angry?
Don. Oh, no way.
Wow. Tell Don, better luck next time.
Sorry, guys. God dang it. That was so close. So what was it? It was envelope.
So
I said envelope. She said letter, and the word was stamp.
Yes.
I think it's the same thing. You put a letter in an envelope. I mean, what else do you put it in? You can't send a letter and just put a stamp on paper. That's true.
I think you can.
So I say the letter is what you'd put in an envelope.
No one. Right. So in the envelope.
Well, how about this? I'm gonna put you guys on hold. Why don't you argue with Kat on hold for a while?
No.
And then we'll see if she gives you the money because she's the one that has the final say in all this.
That is not true.
You should put a poll. You should put a poll out there and see.
You want us to do a texting poll to see if they would say letter or envelope?
Would be the same entity as, yes, what we're saying.
You gals hear about Allie Gallagher? She let Alan Ackerman smack her in the back with his tallywhacker behind the snack shack.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
I'm sorry, guys. No money. We'll do a poll. That's fine. We can do a poll. It's not going to change anything. We'll do a poll, and we'll come back and try and give you some more money with
that was
High-Low
a good play
at about
though.
8:20. That was amazing, guys. So really well done. I appreciate you, Andrea, and I hope you have a great morning.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Hey,
Chores.com. My parents were smokers. And so now when I'm anywhere and I smell cigarette smoke, I instantly think of my mom and dad. I know it's a bad memory, but they were good about keeping it out of the house once I left for college. But I smelled this cigarette smoke when I was leaving the gym. And it seems like such a weird spot that somebody who's there to increase their fitness is going to hit a doobie on the way out. And I just kind of stopped and looked, and I was like, well, whatever, it's your business. But it made me I think that is the most disgusting thing right now. Like, when my wife leaves, I could meet the hottest supermodel on Instagram, and she'd be like, we need to get married and start having babies right away. So go ahead, take your clothes off. And if she lit up a cigarette, I'd have to be like, no, man, I can't do this anymore.
Done?
To me, that is just the most disgusting thing. So I thought I'd pose the question to you. What is something that instantly disgusts you? By the way, worldwide and nationwide, the number one answer is maggots.
Okay.
So what is
just
the number?
Sight of
just
maggots?
even seeing a maggot. I mean, you have to understand the decomposition of a piece of meat or something that would get maggots to it that would be visible.
Yeah.
is already a pretty gross situation. So what's something that instantly disgusts you?
So I'm going to say something because I see it all the time. Derek does this with sandwiches, with other things. But if people take multiple bites of something at the same time. So this is my sandwich. If you're like, it makes me want to barf.
I do that with pizza because I like to get a piece of the crust.
Oh, my
and a
God.
Piece of I eat the triangle part. I'll take a big bite, and then I'll take a bite of the crust because I like to get them all in one. I don't like just to have crust at the end.
Yeah. Nope. Not my thing.
Really?
If I see it, I try not to watch people if I'm out at a restaurant because that'll kind of do it in. I've talked about it before with my bowls of soup. If I get like a New England clam chowder and I get like even a piece of grain of sand, the people ended up screwing around. So we backed out and then they sued us. Best decision that we made. Look at it like take a bite, enjoy it, like chew it, enjoy the flavors. But if somebody takes like multiple
that a young man should have based on your experience is being busy.
Okay.
Oh, that slimy hair in the bathtub drain.
Yeah.
Because it's got a smell on it then. By the time you got to clean that out, it stank.
Derek makes me do it now because he got a cover for our drain. And then sometimes I'll move it aside.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I just do.
You don't want that stuff in your pipe.
And then I'll try it like when I do my hair like conditioner and shampoo, I'll move it back because in case there's stray hairs. But he's like, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. It's your hair.
Stacy texted us at 251-1047.
Yes. And she said, hey, it's Stacy from Rice. When you go to a store or a restaurant and the workers have absolutely, is that it?
Yeah.
Have absolutely no personality, no knowledge, no emotion, and try to push their work off onto somebody else.
That disgusts you.
Yeah.
You physically get disgusted when you see somebody with no personality working at the gas station.
You say dirty fingernails, no soap in the bathrooms, chewing with mouth open, hacking loogies. Yeah, hacking loogies is pretty gross. So, Anika, I look at dirty fingernails as like a case-by-case basis. Like if it's a man that works construction or like one of those manual jobs, sometimes that stuff is like stained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't look at it like gross. I look at it like, oh, it's his trade. Bad teeth or breath.
We're getting a lot of bad teeth.
Yeah.
Soggy bread, says Kelsey.
Okay. Diaper blowout. Oh, there was a guy on TV the other day who had like corn yellow teeth, but it was because something in his makeup caused it to be yellow. He's like, listen, I go into the dentist all the time. I brush my teeth and floss twice a day. So keep that in mind. They might be going through something.
The word moist, said Damien.
Okay.
Bad teeth is clearly leading the way this morning on our Facebook feed. If you want to chime in there, Jeff is disgusted by electric vehicles.
Oh, here we go.
Jeff, that disgusts you. That's a weird life to live,
be
man.
Fighting words to a Tesla owner here.
My wife owns a Tesla. I don't.
Oh my God, you rave about the Tesla.
I think it's an amazing car. I don't.
Would
but
go
I don't
to a
own
convention
it.
if
I don't
there was
own
one
it.
in town.
It's in her name. I don't own it.
But you talk to everybody about it.
Because I want one. They're friggin' awesome.
Just because it's in her name, what's hers is yours. What's yours is.
What's mine is hers. What's hers is hers. I think we all understand this.
I was on my way to the gym yesterday, and I got to a stoplight. And I looked over and, you know, I'm usually the person, there's two types of people that look straight ahead and mind their own business, or me, I get to a stoplight and I look left and I look right. I'm just kind of looking around for stuff. And I actually had to hone my thoughts in so much that I turned the radio down. And then I looked back to my right again and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my old neighbor who passed away a couple years ago. And
that's impossible.
It wasn't, but he had the same glasses, the same facial structure and everything like that. And it made me think of, we've been out of our place now, I don't know, about 6 months, and made me think of my old neighbor, the widow. And I texted her real quick and I just said, hey, thinking about you, how are things? And she had replied to me, and it was so interesting. She said, you know, this nice long text that was really well thought out. Hey, miss you guys, blah, blah, blah. Miss seeing your kids. And then she said, I have some fun news. I met someone. And I was like,
So how old is she? She's in her 60s?
She's probably in her 60s. Yeah, I think they had retired a few years ago. She looks young, though. She looks like she's in her 40s. Like I think she's got like blessed. Well, because I'd seen pictures of her she had shown me as a younger girl.
Yeah.
And her mom looked like she was in her 20s when she was in her 50s. You know what I mean? So I think some people have that genetic flow. But she had said, I found somebody. And she's like, wasn't looking, but met somebody. And we've been dating for a couple of months. And it was weird because she had said that her husband had died the same like time that his wife had. They both had been married over 40 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's just fun to be able to spend time with someone else and share these memories. And I thought, you know what? When you get into your 60s, if you lose your spouse, or even into your 70s, you're right. It's probably pretty lonely. You've had one person you've been talking to and sharing everything with for 40 years. And now you're like, I don't have anyone to share this with. So it's not necessarily like even romantic or sexual. It's just having somebody to go to bingo with, or having somebody to have coffee with in the morning. And hey, here's what happened to me yesterday. Like,
it's a
you
sweet
forget about
thought.
that.
I've always thought that there are more than one. There's more than one person out there for you that you're supposed to be with. Obviously, don't leave one for the other. But now she found someone else that she is compatible with, and there's no better feeling.
And my only experience with this is when my dad had passed away. I mean, I didn't expect my mom to date, and I don't think she was looking to date. The wound was still pretty fresh, and I don't think she was ever in that. She just buried herself in her work. You know what I mean? I think you got a couple of different ways to go with that. But I was like, yeah, that is so sweet to think that, like, yep, you got somebody to spend your time with.
How would you have reacted if Marianne said, I'm starting to date somebody?
If you're a grown-ass woman who's lived a good life, I'd say do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, I would have thought of it that way. I think my sister would have really been like, no, that's not Dad. And then right as we were kind of getting out of that song, Kat's like, and I'll never call him Dad. And I'm like, it so reminded me.
Kids are in their 40s.
It's reminded me of Step Brothers so much. But I just thought that's such a sweet thought. Like, you don't think about that when one of your parents passes away, that they're going to be lonely and they want somebody to share that time with. And then I started thinking about it as like her son or her daughter. And I'm like, oh, would you be like, I don't think they forget that person. You're just like, I got this time, right? I'm retired. I'm just kind of sitting around.
I think the saving grace is that the kids would be older, more mature, be able to handle it.
Dad had heard this audio, and she didn't even feel bad for this girl.
It did not go well. Truthfully, it lasted less than 2 minutes. I walked up, he gave me a hug and said, are you hungry? Let's go inside. We went inside. He said, actually, can you step outside for a minute? And I stepped back outside, and he said, I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just not feeling it. So I walked to my car, came back home. Dating when you're fat sucks.
So, once again, be open and honest with your profile photo. Everyone loves a good filter. Listen, ain't no shame in my game. I love a good filter, but if you're going to be dating, you want to save your heart, your emotions by showing up and having them say, you look nothing like what I was attracted to. I am not attracted to what's in front of me, because that's going to be a quick date.
I've tried to express this to almost everyone in my life. The best thing to actually say in any circumstance is, I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can leave.
You just did that the other day.
I've been doing that almost every day of my life for the last year. And the world's open up. It's such a brighter place. I really enjoy life now that I've started using the words, I'm not interested. Tony, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're really good, man. Thanks for asking. Tell us about the shortest date in history.
All right. So it's pretty terrible. So maybe about 10 years ago, I met this girl on a dating app. She was pretty short, little blonde, pretty thin, seemed pretty cool. So we made a plan for me to pick her up from her apartment. So I pulled up the night that we had the date. This girl comes walking out of the apartment complex and opens the passenger side door. And this girl didn't have blonde hair, and this girl was easily well over probably 350 pounds, no joke. I didn't even recognize her.
Okay.
And when she was opening the door, I was like, oh, whoa, wrong car, And then she's like, no, you're Tony, right? And I'm like, yeah, you're blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And she sat in my car, and I sat there for like a minute, and I said, I got to go. And the thing is like, it's not even a shallow thing. Like, I've dated heavy girls, I've dated skinny girls. It doesn't matter to me. The whole thing was, it was such a different person, totally.
It was a liar.
Like, face wasn't even the same. That it was just like, I was so offended in the moment. I was like, I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I honestly don't. And a female should react that way too. I wouldn't want to date a liar, and that's how you're starting your relationship. Like, she totally lied to you, and probably that whole day before was so nervous to meet you because she knows you're expecting a short, petite, little blonde cutie.
That's like you saying, hey, I'm Brad Pitt, and then you show up and they're like, oh, Beetlejuice. You know, like
Right.
it's just a
Shrunken head. What's going on? So,
Now, did she clap back through the app? I mean, was she pissed?
No, we never talked again. She didn't. I think she probably knew inside that she screwed up, maybe, but we never talked.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, totally different person. Like,
He goes, whoa, wrong car.
Whoa. That part gets me.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
I was like, no, wrong car. And she's like, no. And I'm like, what? Who are you? Get away from me, you know? Just honestly, like, that's screwed up. It's just messed up. If you're going to just be honest with people, like, hey, I'm chunky. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I like you anyway.
Yeah.
But don't just, it's annoying. It's
And you know, you were probably a villain in her narrative for a long time, but people listening to her probably thought you shouldn't have done that to yourself.
Yeah,
you know
to
what I
start
mean?
a relationship with a lie, especially like something that big. I mean, you know it's going to go nowhere, so I don't mind you cutting bait.
It's like that bagel king, that guy that freaked out at the bagel shop because like women won't date him because he's only like 4 feet. And
I remember that.
Yeah, don't you remember that? And he was like, whatever, what's wrong with us? Short people. And it's like, don't go online saying you're 5'3", 5'4" when you're actually 4 feet, you know?
Well, it was on a podium.
Yeah. Oompa Loompas are real.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Tony. Have a great morning.
All right, thanks, guys.
We've got email.
All right, so let's get to Dylan's email.
Okay, so Dylan had wrote us an email. Here it is. He says, my girlfriend and I have been dating for a year. The other night she told me that she loved me for the first time. It caught me off guard. And so what he said back was, I love spending time with you too. And he says, I don't think that's what she wanted to hear. Dylan, I will confirm that is not what she wanted to hear. But he says, I told my best friend what happened. He said, of course, if you're not in love with her after a year, then it might be time to end the relationship. And then he said, now his head is spinning. He really, really enjoys spending time with her. He likes her a lot, but he's not ready to say, I love you. I think after a year, you just know. And
most people set the engagement at a year as the Mendoza line.
Or at least start talking about that. And if you're talking about marriage, you're already saying, I love you.
I'd say if you're into mid to late 20s, probably go with the I love you after a year, or it's probably not going to happen. If you're 18 or 19, you don't need to spit it out that soon.
So it's not fun to not hear it back. Derek.
You ever had that happen?
Yes, Derek. So when we were dating for about 4 to 5 months and just spending every single day, all day together. And then I said, I love you one night. And he was like, night. And I was like, what? Maybe you didn't hear me. So I tried again the next day. And I said, love you on the phone. He goes, all right, see you later.
Oh.
But then, in true Derek fashion, he was thinking, how can I wow this woman? And so he put together this really creative way to tell me he loves me. He put together a CD, and it was a song.
What a DJ thing to do.
Oh, your favorite song is on the radio. So he turned it up, and then all of a sudden it was like he had something come in like a helicopter. He's like, let's just in. I love you so much. And
God, I'm going to
stop
throw
thinking about
up. I just puked in my mouth.
Do not dog on romantic people.
The cheese.
But it was
easiest thing.
Well, the rest is history. And I was like, oh, it's my God, baby. From there, it was just like, this is who I'm supposed to be with. So got my I love you. But Dylan, if you're not ready,
don't make a CD, man. Don't make a CD.
Don't waste her time anymore. If you're not ready to say it, it's been too long. A year, you know.
Do you? Does everybody know after a year that you love someone, though?
I think Dylan needs to know how it feels to not hear it back. So if you've ever had that moment like I did, where you said I love you and you never heard it back, I mean, how did that go down for you?
I think we can all agree. If she's willing to say it after a year and you're not, then you're probably on different levels.
Yeah.
I would love to hear the stories, though, and this would be a perfect fit for our show today, as wonky as it's been. Did you ever say the I love you and not get one back?
I think it's the nicest thing to do if you're not ready to let them move on.
I think most people will say it just because they don't want the uncomfortable situation.
And that's wrong to do, too. If you're not in love with somebody, don't say it. Obviously, Dylan, you're not in love with her. So
he might be. He's just not ready to say it. You never know. This guy could have had his heart broke a couple of times by a couple of fillies out there.
I don't know.
You ever not had the I love you comeback? There's a whole Seinfeld episode on this, isn't it? Where
Ouch.
she's got, I think she's got like a bad hearing in one of her ears.
Yeah.
And then, but he kept saying it to that ear. And then finally he says, I love you. And she goes, I know. I heard you before.
Oh.